Well, let's jump back on green issues to Extinction Rebellion. And we wanted to report on this a couple of days ago, but there was too much going on. But very, very important series of reports that, of course, the dear old BBC produce because they are fully backing Extinction Rebellion. But the police had labelled Extinction Rebellion as an extremist group. But oh dear, within no time at all, this was just a terrible mistake. A little bit upsetting, Mike, because of course we rely on counter-terrorism police to keep us safe, and it's a little bit worrying that they can make silly mistakes because people die when you make silly mistakes in terrorism. So let's have a look at it. But you had to track down the source of the police report that was being talked about in the press here because it disappeared from the website, from the internet very quickly.
Oh, it did very quickly. Once it was in the mainstream press, it disappeared almost immediately. It was practically impossible to find, and in fact the only version of it that we were able to get was from Google's cache.
From Google's cache. Okay, so we're going to show a bit of that in a minute, but this was the Oxfordshire Safeguarding Children's Board. So this is the original document which referred to this Southeastern Counter-Terrorism Police report, which stated that Extinction Rebellion was an extremist organisation. Freudian slip there. Let's also remember, in light of the report we've just done about the abuse in Manchester, that here we've got another one of these safeguarding boards. So you have local authorities sitting down with the police. They're all working together. They're all in bed together. No separation of powers. And we've quickly seen that 1 minute the safeguarding board is going along with the fact that Extinction Rebellion is an extremist organisation. The next minute, oh dear, we've made a terrible mistake. So this is what the safeguarding document said. Southeast Counter-Terrorism Policing have produced the attached reference guide, Safeguarding Young People and Adults from Ideological Extremism. The guide is for practitioners in regular direct contact with young people or members of the public. It is also relevant to managers, senior officers and safeguarding leads at all levels of local authorities. It's designed to help you recognise when young people or adults may be vulnerable to extreme or violent ideologies. Identification of any one of the signs presented here in isolation may not be indicative of vulnerability or radicalisation. However, in combination or in circumstances where they do not fit, they may indicate an individual at risk. So this wasn't a woolly statement, Mike. They were fully on to the fact that the police had identified it as an extremist organisation, and they understood why. So this is the document that UK Column, Mike, was able to find on the internet. It just states official, but this is the document from Southeast Counter-Terrorism Policing. It's entitled Safeguarding Young People and Adults from Ideological Extremism, a quick reference guide, and it was actually dated November 2019. So what did this thing have to say? Well, it had a chunk on Extinction Rebellion, said what you might see and hear, group logo, propaganda materials, participation in direct action or training, and a desire to be arrested for acts of civil disobedience. There are 2 paragraphs which we'll pick up on for simplicity. It says, who are they? Extinction Rebellion, a campaign encouraging protest and civil disobedience to pressure governments to take action on climate change and species extinction. And it also said this, why are they a threat? An anti-establishment philosophy that seeks system change underlies its activism. The group attracts to its events school-aged children and adults unlikely to be aware of this. While non-violent against persons, the campaign encourages other law-breaking activities. So this was totally in line with the UK Column reports, where we held documentation showing that Extinction Rebellion was calling for adults and school-aged children to break the law. And when we sent our evidence to the Department of Education extremism team, they simply refused to take any action. But the police produced this report. Now they're backing off, Mike.
Well, the police are backing off under pressure, but the fact is they had this organisation absolutely identified for what it is, because in the first sentence there, why are they a threat? An anti-establishment philosophy that seeks system change underlies its activism. The key point about Extinction Rebellion is that it's not really about the climate change issue, it's about the changing the system of governance. So they have identified that it seeks system change, and that is their key motivation, not the climate change issue. And they're also identifying the fact that adults and children are unlikely to be aware of this. So actually, Southeast counter-terrorism policing had this bang on the money.
Indeed, and we as UK Column have had it bang on the money because we'd also shown another document produced by a former head of SO15, the police counter-terrorism branch, and in that document on Extinction Rebellion, he said it was an extremely dangerous organisation seeking to overthrow the government. But all of a sudden, Southeast Police have backtracked, which is surprising. Let's have a look at what Detective Chief Superintendent Kath Barnes had to say in the reports that the police had made a terrible mistake. So she said this: "I'd like to make it quite clear that we do not classify Extinction Rebellion as an extremist organisation." That is of deep concern. The inclusion of Extinction Rebellion in this document was an error of judgment, and we will now be reviewing all of the contents as a result. It was produced by CTPSE to assist our statutory partners, including police forces and government organisations, in identifying people who may be vulnerable as a result of their links to some organisations. The document was designed for a very specific audience who understand the complexities of safeguarding environment we work within and who have statutory duties under PREVENT. I'll put a label in here. What's the real statement? We've been warned to drop concerns about the extremist activities of Extinction Rebellion, and the general public is not bright enough to understand those concerns, and we're wiping the internet to hide the whole subject from them. That's what I think is going on here. But let's have a look. Here's Counter-Terrorism Policing Southeast. Please go and have a look at it. And I was very intrigued by this tweet that had been put out. Victoria police personnel, including police from Joint Counter-Terrorism Team Crime, will today be taking part in the Salisbury Novichok attack presentation by Thames Valley Detective Chief Superintendent Kath Barnes. So I think this is the same lady. Is it the same lady, or is this something completely different? But Thames Valley Police, and we're briefing on Novichok, but we can't even work out whether Extinction Rebellion is dangerous or not. Maybe they made a big mistake over Novichok.
Maybe they did.
Maybe they did. Well, this is what Neil Basu, Assistant Commissioner, Head of Counter-Terrorism Policing, has to say about Kath Barnes. As head of our counter-terrorism policing in the Southeast region, Kath Barnes has shown leadership and resilience that without doubt has helped keep this country safe. I'm so pleased that her relentless hard work and dedication has been publicly recognised by a Queen's Police Medal. It's very deserved. So can we actually rely now on the police to protect us against extremism? Because one minute they seem to know what's going on, the next minute they're rather confused.
Yes.
I think they've been lent upon because Extinction Rebellion is the darling of the government, because as Mike said, it's going to help press this change in the system of governance in UK. More on that in forthcoming UK Column news.
Absolutely. Now, sticking with the police.